Welcome to the Bourbon Van. I'm Phil.
I'm Julie. This is Norman, and we're closing up round 3 of the 2020 Advent Tournament.
Bracket 4 has been a complete mess from the get-go.
Yep.
Julie and I haven't agreed on almost anything. In this matchup today, she'll be pitting Old Forester Rye versus Weller Special Reserve. And after she's done, I'll be doing a different matchup.
There is no loser right now for me. I cannot believe how much I'm enjoying the rye during this competition, but I love my Special Reserve. So I think it's gonna be really tough for me today.
Both of these bottles sell between roughly $20 and $28, bringing some budget bourbons into the next round. Yeah, one way or another, a $20-something bourbon is going to end up in the final 4 for you.
I love it, and that's how it should be. And I also took a sneak peek on what you're gonna be drinking, and I think I win.
I'm cool. Number 12 versus number 13 overall seeds. Old Forester was the rye from bracket 4, and Weller Special Reserve is the wheated bourbon from bracket 4. Old Forester rye 100 proof, Weller 90 proof.
Right off the bat, glass number 2, I had to get a little cat fur out of the way, but my own fault there.
Perfectly sanitary.
Ooh, there is a nice nose to glass number 2. On the nose, I could take a guess already.
Well, I'm going to take this opportunity because I really never ever drink this to have a little bit of your Weller.
Oh, glass number 1 is really smooth. Definitely some caramel in there. There's a light sweetness to it. It's just very subtle.
This Old Forester rye bottle for you initially knocked out E.H. Taylor small batch, and in the second round it knocked out Woodinville bourbon. So it's had a couple of interesting matchups. The Weller, meanwhile, all it did is knock out the most expensive bottle in the tournament and then beat up Rare Breed.
Well, I know which one I just got because I immediately got like some cherry candies on this one. Sweet cherries.
My goodness.
My glass one, I'm getting a little oak now on it. Not too much. This one's pretty subtle all around, I think. I think it's really nicely balanced. The flavors are there to find. It's just a really nice, delicious drink, and it's got a good finish. I haven't really given glass 2 a fair shake yet.
You seem to really be enjoying glass 1 and ignoring glass 2.
No.
I hope you're not hurting its feelings.
I don't know if anyone is gonna be hurt here because I think that oh, there goes the cap. Glass 2, the nose, overall more potent nose. There's a word I haven't used yet this tournament.
Great.
I think they're both pretty subtle, which makes them kind of a tough competitors. Glass number 1 does have, like I said, super balanced. It's just a little bit more enjoyable for me.
Sure.
Then glass number 2, pretty short finish on glass number 2. I'm gonna take one more sip.
Okay.
Just to do it. I'm sure you know where I'm going already.
I had a pretty good idea, but while we're on the topic of rye whiskeys, I guess we're on the topic of rye whiskeys for the moment, you might have noticed that most ryes have green labeling. The Old Forester rye has this green box here, the green ring on it. Pikesville, green. Knob Creek here has the green. And I looked this up not too long ago because I kept noticing that everything rye had a green label on it. Some people say it's just because one brand started doing it and other brands started doing it for product recognition. Some people say it's because rye is green while it's growing. Anybody has a definitive answer to that, we'd love to hear it.
And with that, I'm ready.
Okay, cool. I love stupid trivia and I love finding out what you are moving ahead.
Glass number 2, stronger nose, and the more I drank it, the more the flavor started coming through. An immediate cherry candy on this one.
That's a cherry candy bomb.
Yeah, just immediate. I cannot believe that it's here, and I now have a new appreciation for the Old Forester rye. If glass number 2 is the Old Forester rye,
Yeah.
I'm going forward with glass number 1. The nose, not as strong, but the taste all the way through. Super well-rounded, super balanced. It's not like a crazy bourbon where you're getting all those flavors. It's just nice.
And that's what it's known for. I'm not surprised by it at all because you love this particular type of bourbon. Super good glass is what? No.
Oh no,
The
logo glass.
And the logo is the Weller. Actually okay with Old Forester being out of the competition, this rye, because it means that it can go back to being our daily drinker.
Totally.
More good news on that is if you live in Oregon, cases of this have started arriving on shelves again. We were not getting it here for a while and we were starting to panic.
He was starting to panic.
I sure was. It's back. I couldn't be happier. I'm happy for Julie. Got a final 4 all picked out.
I'm excited that a Weller made it. Weller was the first first bourbon that I fell in love with.
That's your first love, yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm happy to see her move to the final four, and I'm happy that my portion is over of round 20, and you are up next.
Let's set it up. We'll be right back.
All right, are you ready for this?
I can't wait.
Really curious how this is gonna go.
I'll be drinking number 5 overall Cooper's Craft Barrel Reserve at 100 proof, and number 20 overall Remus Repeal Reserve Batch 2, our baller bottle, also 100 proof. Two things that I think happened in bracket 4. Number 1, totally underestimated how far a $29 bottle could go in this bracket. Number 2, totally underestimated how far an $88 bottle could go in this bracket. This bottle beat Rare Breed for me from Wild Turkey, and I am still salty about it.
He talks about it like all the time.
This Cooper's bottle has just been one of the surprises of the year for me. I can't wait. I'm just gonna get right into it.
And I'm gonna choose one to take a little sample of.
I think you should. Oh man. Glass 2 is immediately caramel and leather, oak. Wow, that is powerful aroma on glass 2 right off the bat. Now here on this one, it's starting to open up a little bit. I'm gonna swirl a little bit because the more I move it, the more I get something out of it. Caramel, brown sugar, oak, little spice, and maple. They're both 100 proof, so I'm not anticipating either one of these overwhelming my palate, so I'm gonna get right to it. Glass number 1.
And we made it 20 days already. This is pretty good.
This is pretty good.
Is it?
Oh man. Vanilla, caramel, oak.
You seem happy. Like
there's
you got a little flush on the cheeks.
There's maple on the finish.
Almost like got embarrassed. You liked that one so much.
Blush. I think I have a new. Is this glass flirting with me?
I think so.
Goodness.
Wait, are you on glass number 2 now?
Yeah.
Are they both flirting with you?
Goodness. I feel like I'm on a dating show. Suitor number 2, what flavors have you got for me?
I was really concerned about this one.
This is such good whiskey. This one is a little leather, more oak, more vanilla. It's not as complex, kind of not by a long shot, but what's there is really pleasant. There's an interesting fruit, like red fruit freshness in this glass that sort of pairs with the caramel. There's a lot to like in glass 2.
Are you feeling like these deserve to be here? It's such an interesting road that took, I mean, for both of us.
Yeah, bracket 4 is it's a disaster. So glass 2 drinks a little easier. The experience is really lovely from start to finish. This is gonna sound really stupid, it doesn't drink like an expensive bourbon. It drinks like something that would appeal to a greater population, which in my mind means that it's probably the more affordable whiskey.
So it reminds me that this is such a preference competition because I found, and obviously I have the Cooper's, I did not have the Remus, but the Cooper's was delicious. Way more flavorful than the 2 that I just previously drank. The flavors came across more vibrantly. You like a little bit more proof, a little bit more complexity, a little bit more flavors, and so I can totally see why these are here for you.
Yeah, I was just about to write off glass number 1 while you were talking, and I chewed on that whiskey for a while. I worked it around in my mouth. I feel like the inside of my mouth is coated with maple, oak, rye. Whatever this glass is, I see exactly what they were trying to accomplish with it now, and it's
Pretty good.
tremendous. Glass 1 is showing up, and it's showing off.
Oh, I like that.
There's a ton of maple now. The oak, there's rye spice, there's some fruit, like a blueberry, maybe a blackberry, something real dark like that, not tart at all, probably blackberry.
Yeah.
The nose is rounded out to something much more complex than anything that I was getting before. This one took a long time to make its point, but it is emphatic in its point now.
Do you have an inkling or?
I think I do, because glass number 2 is starting to taste the way that it did in its last matchup. This, I think, is the Cooper's. This is the bottle that took down Taylor, which costs $15 more than it. It's starting to smell red fruity, like raspberry, which is wild on this because it starts out all cherry, vanilla, oak, leather, dark, rich, and then it totally morphs into a caramel bomb with raspberry notes, and it's so strange. It's such a strange bottle. I love it. It's just such a strange bottle.
Every time that you give tasting notes, it makes me want to run out and try whatever it is that you're trying.
You don't have to go anywhere, they're right here. I'd
Which
be
one?
interested for you to try the Remus.
I didn't realize there was a story on the back of this bottle.
Oh, George Remus, king of the bootleggers.
December 5, baby. 1933.
Prohibition sucked.
Huh. I don't have anything left in this one, but wow, wildly different noses on these.
I'm ready.
Me too. Just kidding.
You go first.
What do you got for me?
Okay, I love both of these bottles. Love them both. Both of these glasses, I should say. Glass number 2, from the start, drinks easier, is more pleasant off the jump. And a wonderful take it off the shelf bourbon and run with it. I think it's our more affordable bourbon. The messed up thing here is that the bottle that I think is the more expensive one is not separating itself. One of them is batting way out of its price range. I think it's glass 2, and that's what I'm going with.
So you got the logo glass.
Logo glass.
And the logo glass is Cooper's.
Unbelievable. The baller bottle finally goes down to a $29 Cinderella story.
Hey, first sip, I was like, I'm in on the previous glass. So.
You went Cooper's too?
I mean, I took one sip randomly, but when I took that initial sip, I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm going with this one.
Once again, I feel like I've made a decision and people are going to be like, who is this guy? What is he thinking? But
hey, we're for the people.
this
We got
not
three. We had 3 out of 4 less than $30 bottles make it into this round. We're okay.
Not some bougie whiskey drinker. Who am I supposed to be? Look, this bottle here is very good. This Remus Repeal Reserve Batch 2. I've really enjoyed it in this competition. It went further than I thought it would. I still think on a different day, Rare Breed probably would have knocked that out. What it ultimately says to me is this Cooper's Craft Barrel Reserve, and this is the Barrel Reserve one. There's another one that we haven't had that's just strictly Cooper's Craft, is my understanding. Is just a heck of a deal. I can't really say enough about that bottle. It's
Gotta have some Cinderellas that make it through.
It's tremendous, and
Yeah.
this is the cheapest bottle in my Final Four by $30.
I'll do the honors. She goes back on the shelf. I'm not sure where, but
Somewhere over
we'll
here.
just stick it down here for right now.
We're gonna have to do some reorganizing up here because Julie and I now have our Final Fours set. There's
There's 7 bottles.
There's
And
7
there's
bottles in
only
the
4
Final
spots.
Four.
We are.
But that's gonna benefit those of you who submitted your brackets because there are some really wild brackets in there, and some
Keeping
of
it interesting.
the dominoes are falling every day. It's getting weirder and weirder in those brackets. These things are not decided yet. Hang in there, keep watching. Thank you for watching. If you haven't yet subscribed, now's a good time to do that. Like, comment, subscribe.
Ring that bell, baby.
Ring the bell, you'll never miss a notification from us. Thanks again for following along, and from wherever we are,
To wherever you are.
cheers.
Cheers.